Go Dom Go! Welcome everybody to Dialogues for the Tactics on a Thursday. Now it has been a week since VAZARIS has come to the game, the new hunter hero. And as I do, we're going to go over my post-launch summary or post-launch thoughts on the hero. I like to do these. I like to give it at least a week before I kind of reevaluate my initial impression of the hero, because his banner is still up for another week, and maybe this information will be interesting to you guys, and you can decide if you've been hoarding your tickets whether or not he's worth going for. So let's discuss. Now, the issue with this Panther Man is, let's go to Hunters. Where is he? Right down there. I've got him. I don't got a good one. This is my streaming account, but on my main account, I have got all of the main Hunters, Hyper Evolved 120, X30, some of them maxed, but my VAZARIS is Immortal 0. So, when this guy first came into the game, on paper, his kit looked really, really good. Or I should say it looked really interesting. Once he came to the game, day one initial testing, it was very meh. In fact, I gave him a rating that is lower than I've given Amat, lower than I gave Take when they came into the game. And after a week, I'm going to say that yes, I am going to have to upgrade this guy. And I'm going to upgrade him a couple spots. It's not just going to be, you know, he was a B+. He's not just going to go to A-. I think I'm going to have to go straight to A+. But there's a lot of caveats when it comes to, is this guy good? Is he worthy of that grade? Keep in mind, I grade on an F, D, C, B, A, triple S, SP. So and he comes in at A+, which is pretty damn good. Just for reference, someone like Awakened Dan, Awakened Maz, Rebecca, Dominic, Nord, those heroes I tend to rate triple S level out of SP. Obviously, the SPs are SPs. But that's how I rate. So to go from a B+ to an A+, something had to have changed. I had to have gotten a lot more keen on this guy. So as I said, though, it comes with a lot of caveats. I'm not going to go through this kit again. If you guys want to see his whole rundown, how I came to the conclusions that I did last week on Thursday, I have the deep dive up on my channel. You can go find it there. But what he is, just if I'm going to TLDR, what Vaz is he is basically the Samael. He's basically the Doralee of, or for, the Hunter team. And he does it quite well. So, let's just kind of rehash where I have found the most impact from Vaz in the game. If we're looking, or if we're discussing purely PvE, I would say, oh look at that, I got some rewards. I would say that this boss right here, the Panda boss, that is where I am seeing the most impact. So I did my stage 11 this morning because it reset this morning, and with Awakened VAZARIS, and she's going to play into this as well. With Awakened VAZARIS, I was able to take, or using my Hunter team, I was able to get Panda down to about, I think it was like 22%. So in for reference, last week through the week, I was able to get him down to roughly 35. So Awakened VAZARIS is definitely helping there. So he can survive, but he does. Actually, he was dying for me, but then with the new prototype, the bracers, he does live. It's more of a damage thing. So if I had Artemis on the team, with him frontlining, he can tank Panda, no problem. He can take all the hits. You're just going to need something to keep him up. But I am quite impressed with how he is performing on the Panda boss with a full Hunter team. So right here, he makes an impact. He doesn't really make an impact anywhere in the game, like Molten Abyss or Disa Caves. Like, you guys were, you didn't need him to be a frontliner in order to get the bosses down. So he's not really a big impact in the older legacy areas of the game. I would say that his biggest impact is going to be coming in PvP. So him, in combination, and this is where the caveats come in combination with the new prototype, which I can show you right now, and with Awakened VAZARIS, does make the Hunter team good enough to be usable again in PvP. So obviously I don't have the new prototype on this account, but I can show you it. It's right here, the Bionic Bracers. if you need a little recap of what it does, well, at level 6, all the hunter heroes, when they start the battle, start with 3 layers of cell shell. When you have it at level 6, what that does is it gives them 30% damage reduction per each layer. So they start the fight with basically 90% damage reduction, and when they revive, and VAZARIS is a reviving hunter, they refresh all of the stacks of cell shell. So it does give them lots of extra survivability that the impact of which is drastically felt in PvP. So if you like hunters, if you wanted to run hunters, it's not all VAZARIS contributing to the rise of hunters in PvP, or the, not rise, but the viability of hunters in PvP. It's not just VAZARIS, but he is definitely probably the linchpin that makes it work. And I'm going to show you guys some video of that. If you saw my patch notes review last night, you saw a little bit. I did take some more. I was doing some more battles today, so I do have another recording to show you guys. So this prototype right here is absolutely necessary. Absolutely. 100% necessary if you want to run hunters in PvP. Unless you have Artemis. Artemis kind of acts like a cheat code. I don't have Artemis, so it was kind of nice testing without her. I think I have a 3-copy Artemis, and she's just not performing. She would just die too quickly against good tank teams. But Vaz, in combination with this prototype and with Awakened VAZARIS, does make for quite a potent combination in the hunter team. So I kind of want to keep this just to Vaz. I don't really want to show his banner or his cinematic again, so we'll just kind of go like this and look at him. So there he is. He's definitely decent. I wasn't expecting him to be as tanky as he was. After you run him, because remember, you have to run him with when fear heroes that give him his damage reduction, but then also with his own natural damage reduction that's in his kit, and with the bionic bracers, he takes lots of poundings. He can take all the poundings, and we're gonna just go straight to some video right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let's chuck my head down onto the bottom right corner of your screen. So this is the footage that I recorded last night and showed in my patch notes video. This is PvP footage. I'm not gonna like stop it and go through it as in depth as I did last night. I'm probably just gonna let it run so you guys can see it. So the first test, I didn't really know how they were gonna perform. You see, I put them in an unleashed set. And I guess I should talk about gear, because gearing has changed since my deep dive. So let me just turn this down a little bit. So this again, for reference, in case anyone didn't watch my patch notes video, the team that I'm facing here does have a maxed Carabin. Every hero on here is maxed instead of Tachikoma. Every hero on this tank team is X30, is Hyper-Evolved 120. They are fully tempered gear. We went and looked at that in the patch notes video, because the owner of this team did make it to the Summit Final, so we were able to just go look and inspect his gear on all his tanks. So I would say that this is an almost 10 million power tank team. It was a very good representation of what we would want the hunters to do against tanks, given that the hunters, tanks are their natural antagonist, their natural enemy, their natural opponent. You know, assassins want energy, summoners want assassins, vanguards want hunters, hunters want tanks, tanks want vanguards. It's a giant circle of life. Of course, the SPs kind of let you do whatever you want, but if you don't have the SPs, as I don't here, I'm not even attempting to run an Artemis, you don't need her to beat a very, very good tank team. So when I saw this, I was absolutely impressed. I was giggly in the video last night when I was showing this. So I pulled Masrani off, because obviously running Masrani on this team is going to be a stretch for most players, although it is easier to get an A7 Masrani. But if we just want to watch Vaz, like just watch Vaz, he is right up there with all the tanks. And look at how slowly his health bar is going down. It's barely moving. You know, like that shield, they can't get through that shield. Now, of course, he slowly loses the damage reduction over the course of 90 seconds. And now he's down to about 1/3 health. But there you go. He just healed up. And he just keeps on ticking. He can take an absolute beating. I am very impressed with how tanky he is. And he can also put out a lot of damage. I have some footage I can show you after the next video segment that shows that he can chuck out the damage, but you kind of got to tweak his gearing a little bit. So here you go. Full, pretty much maxed out. Awakened 7 res even, so the res was healing Panda. Very, very consistent. The hunters just walked over it. Now, there is kind of a rundown of the team. You see Max Carabin. We saw his gear. It's maxed tempered opportunistic, max tempered opportunistic, max tempered opportunistic, max tempered resonant, max tempered resonant on res. Very, very, very good team. Level 80 commander. Good stuff. So right there, when I saw that yesterday, that immediately bumped up his rating in my opinion. But caveats. I'm always going to mention these caveats. You do need to have really good hunters in order to do this. Otherwise, you're probably just going to be able to punch sideways or punch down on tank teams. Now, I couldn't find a tank team that had, say, Wamagon instead of res, but in my opinion, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, having an Awakened 7 res on this team paired with Panda and chucking, I think it was Carabin that gets chucked to the back. Carabin's more of a threat in the back than Panda. Panda's a lot squishier, whereas Carabin has a lot more damage reduction and shielding capabilities, and he's kind of got a cheat death or a prevent death. Whereas Panda, if he gets chucked to the back now, he's just going to get nuked in seconds. At least this way, how bad Juju played him with chucking Carabin to the back. He's trying to kill my Rebecca, which makes my team fall apart. But with the bracers, the new prototype, Rebecca can survive a little bit of an initial onslaught. And of course, I guess I was going to say something, but we'll see that later. So this team, you don't have to have Purin. I have actually tested this team today using a multitude of support. I even did it even worked just as well running Bada. And running Bada, being a Wenfear, you're actually giving your VAZARIS more damage reduction. Now, that's a blast from the past. You can't just say Bada. The chuds are going to come out if you say Bada too much. But just let's go look at her kit, because a lot of us probably don't remember what she was like. So, she's a big single target nuker. So, heals a target ally for, a percentage of max HP. When the target is under, then the healings increase, blah, 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 blah. When healing an ally, pull enemies within radius around towards the center. So, she'd be pulling them in towards VAZARIS if she's healing VAZARIS. Healing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Ultimate skill, reduce damage taken by the target you heal for 50 seconds. So, I think Bada... Actually, I'm going to look at Bada, and she might be a viable candidate for the support unit on this team. Of course, if you have Artemis, I would say just run 5 hunters, because, as I said, I was testing out all the supports, and they didn't seem to make a whole bunch of difference. Let's see, I can't remember what her passive does. It's this stupid fountain, right? Energy recovery is, what is it? When entering the battlefield, Bada summons the fountain. Each time she casts a skill, the fountain is charged. When fully charged, the fountain immediately provides a shield to the ally with the lowest HP, equal to a percentage of her max HP, and gives her 300 energy. That's actually quite nice on a hunter team. Can only occur up to 1 time. I think you can increase that. Shield is increased with the talent modifier, and then the effect can trigger another time. And it increases to 300. Is increased by 300. So that's a full energy bar. So, her being a Wenfear can actually work to your advantage on a full hunter team. So, that is where he's probably made the greatest leaps and improvements, is in PvP. Again, I'm going to say it one last time, caveats. You have to have a really good hunter team. Again, you need a really high Rebecca. Older players should have a really high level Immortal Rebecca, given how old she is. And if you wanted to make a hunter team, I would say that VAZARIS, Ryzaris, and Rebecca are kind of the linchpins on that team. Ryzaris, again, older players should have her maxed. I don't think a lot of newer players are going to have her well developed, because we've been able to basically ignore the hunters up until this point. Arcadia, she does a lot of damage too, but she's just kind of just there just to do damage. So in PvP, you guys saw this, she did quite well. I was actually quite impressed with how they performed in PvP. Now, shout out to Kazdan, because he asked me, he's like, just chuck Rez on that team. So I was like, yeah, let's just do that. Makes sense. I'm going to pair him with Rebecca. You know, give Rebecca more speed. I do have like an Awakened 4 Rez, I think. And he's going to be pumping energy to Rebecca. Now you're going to see he is going to die. But this does... It pretty much goes as smoothly as the footage we already saw using Purin. But at least this way, you're going to be saving your Purin for other teams. Probably your energy team. And Rez's ability to screw up or mess with the opposing team's energy bars is actually quite nice. Now, I don't know why Rebecca is just not ulting. Like, she's just sitting here. I guess I know why. You can see her. She's being pounded up and down. I know I shouldn't say that for a preteen. But she's sitting there getting pounded by Carabin. She never actually really got her ult off until right now. But she is going to target who? You know, she's going to target Carabin. And once she starts to lay into him, he's kind of dead. But the only reason why she's alive right now is because of the Bionic Bracer prototype, which I do have maxed. So you see VAZARIS up there. He is going to go... He's still not dead. He still has not lost his first life yet. We are going to lose Rez here, but now Rebecca is teeing off on Pandemonium, and he doesn't stand a chance. She's just going to slice through his armor like butter. And now everyone else is just dead. So I do turn on the damage meter right there, so you guys can see that, you know, VAZARIS not doing a whole lot of damage, but look at Ryzeris's damage. So it's very evident in a AoE fight with, or not AoE fight, but in a fight with multiple targets where they can AoE. Ryzeris actually does quite well, and this is an Awakened 4, so she is gaining the increased attack, I do believe, from her A3. She gets 20% extra attack, which is, it makes her quite beefy. She is doing a significantly higher amount of damage, and hell, that's just going to help the Hunter team, right? And look at Vaz. I don't think Vaz actually died, because you can see he's still got some Rebecca shields, which gives him a lot more damage mitigation. He's getting all the damage mitigation from his kit. He's getting all the damage mitigation from the other Wenfear, and he's getting all the damage mitigation from the Mythic, or the Bionic Bracer Mythic Divine prototype. So this team, I do really like it. It is nice to have a team that can beat tanks that isn't my Korra assassin team. Because that's what I've been using for tanks, pretty much, is Korra assassins. Well, now I got a Hunter team. So there you go. PvP again. I know a lot of people don't care about PvP, but I had to show you that. So now I'm going to show you guys a basic damage test of Vaz. Because, and I guess I should take this time to discuss Vaz's gear. So in my deep dive, I said that Vaz should have either an Unleashed set, or, and I want to go back over here to this discussion. I said he should have an Unleashed set, or a, what was it, a Zephyr set with Fade Out. Is that Fade Out? No, Marauder. Marauder or Unleashed. And as it turns out, I highly recommend you go watch another Eternal Evolution YouTuber by the name of Nullface, Nullface. He hasn't made a video in a while, but he just posted one for the first time in months, where he does an extensive, like if you guys want to see spreadsheets, analytics, more testing that I'm ever willing to do on all of the different gear sets for VAZARIS, go check out his channel. Again, it's Nullface, Nullface. And what he discovered, and what we're all kind of coming around to now, is that for the 3 reviving hunters, Tempered Fade Out is actually best in slot. So what you have to do, though, since you're not running Unleashed, is you do have to run attack speed boots. But for Ryzeris, Arcadia, and VAZARIS, these 3 heroes now want Tempered Fade Out. You do that, they become real dangerous. Real dangerous. Now, fade out's nice because it gives 15% crit rate. Since you're not going to be able to run Sun Signet, you're going to probably want to run a Zephyr set with attack speed boots. Now, that's going to overcap you on a lot, but keep in mind, I reread Ryzeris' kit. She tops out at 800 attack speed. So I made a set for my Ryzeris today, and she doesn't have 600 from gear, but she's got 400 from gear, which gives her a lot more, or gives her another magic missile on her ultimate. So she wants 800. Arcadia wants 500 from everything attack speed, and then VAZARIS also wants 500. I do believe Rebecca only needs 400 or 300. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I still run Rebecca in an Unleashed set. I think that's going to be the best for her regardless, but definitely for these reviving heroes, if you can get them in Tempered Fade Out, you're going to see a lot more bang for your buck with your Hunter team. So I had to caveat that right there, because as we go over to this PvE footage, this is in the Forbidden Mist in the PvE battle. So what I have done, or what I will do, is you see that Arcadia, Ryzeris, and Vaz are all in their Fade Out sets. Now, they're not tempered, so they could actually do a lot more damage with Tempered Fade Out, but I thought for the purpose of testing, I would just run with this. I want to try to make these three equivalent. Now, of course, Rebecca, she's Immortal 4, and she has a fully tempered Unleashed set. And I did chuck in my red copy, Red 0, Mythic 0 copy of Artemis, just to kind of give you guys a baseline of what she does. Now, she, again, wants Unleashed as well. So here we go. So you see, I got Fade Out Zephyr, Fade Out Zephyr, and I do believe... Wait a minute. Was my Arcadia in Fade Out Signet? I think she might have been. I'm going to have to fix that. She is. Alright, well, I will have to fix that, because she is not reaching speed caps in that gear. Yeah, so you want Zephyr Fade Out with attack speed boots to hit all of your attack speed benchmarks. So this is a pure damage numbers test to show you how they stack up against each other. Keep in mind, Ryzeris is Immortal 5 on 120 X30 Awakened 4. And Rebecca is Immortal 4. Or I should say Ryzeris is Immortal 5. Arcadia is only Immortal 1. But you see, even at a Mythic level, Artemis is actually doing quite well. But if you see, like, even in a single target fight, Ryzeris is keeping up with Arcadia, and that is new. That never, ever happened before. Also, keep in mind, like you saw, I did not have Arcadia in a Zephyr set, so she's actually being handicapped by not having enough attack speed in her kit. I gotta fix that on my main account. But it is still impressive nonetheless to see Ryzeris' damage inching back up there significantly more than she used to do. Ryzeris used to do pitiful damage, which is sad, because I remember when she first came out and we all were quite impressed by her. So I probably don't have to run this all the way through. You guys kind of get the point. Obviously, Becca, she's still the queen. She's the damage queen. She's going to just be miles above everybody until you get an Artemis way up there, which the majority of you never will. And I will never will either. I will never get an Artemis higher than you see right now. But yeah, this team can actually dish out the deets. So that pretty much wraps it up there. I will tell you, too, that in a solo fight, I was running the 5th Element prototype. Now, there's in PvP, I was running the Attract Beholder. And then in PvE, with a single target boss, I was running 5th Element. And those are all, I basically attack speed. Well, I guess 5th Element's an attack speed hunter prototype. Attract Beholder is a healing prototype. It doesn't work for Rebecca, though. So possibly 5th Element or Crossbow are probably going to be your best. The Tractable Holder really only works for people that hit more than 3 targets, then they heal themselves. And that's mainly back in the day of Prygor, Moriami, and VAZARIS. Arcadia, I don't know if it really works on her either. And I think it might work on Vaz, since he does his basic effects, I think, will turn into AoEs. So I think a Tractable Holder would work on him too. But the crossbow or fifth element are probably going to be your go-to prototypes. All right, so that kind of wraps the video up, if I'm being honest. Yeah, we'll kind of wrap it up there. So my thoughts on Vaz post-launch, 1 week post-launch. Now, me being someone that has most of the goodies, I like him, and I am going to give him a higher grade than I gave him day 1. I'm going to move him from a B+ up to an A+, so he's getting a full grade higher. Basically because of he is the facilitator that allows the hunters to be able to do what they can do. Because what did we used to do before Vaz? We'd put someone like Leo in there, or Dorley, or something else to act as a buffer. But this guy is definitely built to take the hits. And again, if you have him in a fade out set, he can dish the hits. He can actually dish the hits. Again, go watch Nullface's video to see just how significant a tempered fade out set is on him. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to wrap that up right there. Tell me what you think. Tell me your grade 1 week out on VAZARIS. Again, I understand that the majority of you don't have all the parts and pieces in order to make the team run, because we haven't had the need to develop our hunters until now. Now, finally, after so long, we finally have the tools in game to make hunters a viable team in PvE and PvP without the SP. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell me the grade in the comment section down below. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, everybody. Till next time. Cheers, peace, bye-bye.